Are people in America so tribalist that they wouldn't?
No, it's not.
It's not about tribalism.
not
It's just about helping their people. And for them, those East Chinese immigrants, they're not their people. Those are
just
immigrants.
wouldn't be able to empathize, sympathize.
Yeah, that would just reinforce their own American conservative ideals.
Yeah,
They
it's
would
not that Americans are bad. It's just people find it hard to sympathize with people who don't look like them.
Yeah, especially nowadays with MAGA and all those conservative values, what it means to be American, hating, being anti-immigrant, being pro, whatever.
Lots of people in America are being bullied on a daily basis.
Yeah.
None of them gets their voices heard. None of them couldn't even voice their voices.
And just because they can, just because social media can amplify their voices, it doesn't mean it necessarily will go viral or they will garner the sympathy they're looking for.
I don't know. I find it kind of hard to believe. I think at heart that there are a lot of American people who are very
Giving,
not only giving, very what's the word?
empathetic.
Empathetic, yeah, empathetic.
But let me be honest.
Or very.
Let me be really honest with you. They're really empathetic for people who are like them.
Well, like them.
100%. But in terms of their history, they're some of the most, conservative to themselves kind of people.
What if it's an Asian couple who's like culturally identical, culturally like...
It doesn't matter. They're Asian, right? It doesn't matter. They don't know their history. They see that they're Chinese.
They speak flawless English. They're just average American, but they happen to be Asian.
Yeah, if the interests they represent happen to
Yes.
overlap...
Yes, with the interest of the other public.
With the interest of the general public, then maybe they'll
Yes,
get
I
our
agree.
support. But if the issues they're raising is so niche that only apply to people of their background, even however unjustified the situation is, they're probably just completely silenced.
Like this is a really big issue in the U.S. especially. Like I don't think, not to be racist, but if they were like Mexicans, you'd feel sorry for them. But I don't think not us, but Americans would necessarily go to crowdfund and give them some donations.
Well, even Mexicans might be getting a lot of the support these days because there's a huge Latino American.
Yes, actually that is a very true thing, especially in the southern states for sure.
I think it's just more the case that white people are more likely to fall back on these instruments, fall back on these resources. Just they're more likely to go ask for a GoFundMe, whereas I've never seen. Well, maybe there are cases, and they're just not as prominent.
Maybe you can tell me. For example, I see nowadays on YouTube there's advertisements for hunger in Arab countries and in Africa, and it's like targeted towards like people in Kazakhstan to make donations.
But
do they actually donate?
But that's a different type of beast, right? It's a different situation.
But do people typically donate to people that look more like them, or does it not matter?
I have no idea.
No idea either way, right?
No,
I think it's very individualistic at the end of the day.
People everywhere just tend to sympathize with people who look like them.
That is true.
That's the sad reality of humanity. It just we find it hard to sympathize and have compassion across cultural and language barriers.
To be honest, like when I see those ads, it's like happening on a different planet. It's like somewhere on Tatooine. It's like that. It's like a different world.
Yeah, disassociation.
And
it's not necessarily a bad thing either. It's just like when it's shoved down your throat like that, you feel.
Yeah, and you don't want those problems to enter into your world, and you just
because people
stay their side.
Well, to take a bird's eye view of the situation, people don't really care that much about justice or injustice, about truth. They care about their feelings, and in this case, people, whoever that video is intended for, they will feel a sense of helplessness.
Helplessness, yeah.
And because they can put themselves into the shoes of those people, they'll be like, what if I run a small business? What if I'm a franchisee? What if I get bullied?
Yeah, they're not even thinking of them. They're thinking, if I was in their shoes.
Yeah, they'll feel that. They'll feel the sense of injustice,
and that's what makes them
rising up in their chest. But if they see someone who looks different, speaks different, even speaks,
suddenly the walls go up.
Yeah.
Suddenly they see it from the point of the corporate.
Corporate, exactly. They're always okay. Maybe corporate has a reason.
It's interesting. They might take the side of the corporate because in that case, the corporates sound like them. But the corporates sound more like them than.
But
then they were in violation of rules. As a franchise, why do you violate franchise rules?
But as
play by the rules and you don't get.
As three external parties, like we watch this situation unfold. Do we take a side or do we just say neutral?
No. I mean, if we want to be completely technical and technical and completely objective about the situation, we should have the legal expertise and we should review all the legal documents surrounding this whole case and be able to make a judgment.
But from what we see,
we cannot make any call because we don't have the information. What we do know is historically, for example, in colonial India, there's a lot of grievances which is handled by the British court, and they always tend to favor the white people,
the corporation.
Whatever the case might be.
Is it good that they took them to court? That because the corporate was threatening them. So is it good that they actually went to court?
No, the point I want to make is the U.S. is also, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and the case is being decided by lawyers. I mean, being interpreted by lawyers and judges and maybe the jurors. And all of them are people, and people have their biases. And when they come together and form an opinion, a lot of times they have their biases. And also, it's smart for them to use social pressure, because social pressure can also influence how people judge the case. So at the end of the day, sadly, we live in a world where nothing is absolutely objective.
When you go public with these things, it's like it's not a guarantee that you're gonna win the case, but it's a booster in terms of it's gonna
gain attention.
It's gonna influence the judge to be more objective.
Yeah, and worst case, even if they lose a case, right? If they lose a case, it might even be a good thing, because it's so public.
Yeah, people will feel so much sympathy for that.
And then they can have another GoFundMe campaign.
Or they make another business, they start their own business, and people will give them money to start, for example. Because out of pity, they feel so bad for those people.
So it's all about how humans come together and write a story and rewrite a story and be part of the story. You see so many influencers jumping onto this story, us included.
Well, these sort of events, the judges, they have so much sway over what happens after such precedents take place. This is probably not a precedent in terms of a legal case, but it just goes to show that if a judge if this is a particularly difficult thing to decide, and the judge has to make a ruling, then that becomes law in America. Then whatever, if there are similar cases happening after that,
it gets written into the
because
Constitution.
judges are sort of infallible in the American system. They set precedents.
Yeah, and then when lawyers go to school for law school, they start to educate themselves on these cases.
But still, every case is different. Even if this thing in a way becomes a precedent, right? Another case will not be 100% identical to it, and
but they can use similar kinds of cases to derive meaning.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it's a similar case, then the judge will more likely.
Yeah, the future cases will be based on this original.
They'll be ruled according to previous.
Do you guys agree that that's a good system?
No, it's terrible, bro.
It's very discretionary.
It's a terrible system.
But to be fair,
judges can make mistakes too, right?
But to be fair, I don't think legal systems anywhere is better than this. Well, it's equally messy everywhere. I mean, there's not really a fair system anywhere in the world, to be fair.
Roman law, though, is better than...
I don't know. I've never lived in Rome, but I know that...
Judges' law. This is judges' law, and there's Roman law.
Well, that's like saying, like, what system do you guys think is the best? Make up a system.
At least the judges there are not taking bribes. The police are not taking bribes, at least in that case.
Well, the police at the base level are not.
Yeah.
But at a higher level, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I'm not going to say anything, but...
At the higher level, who knows?
Who knows, There's a lot of different variables.
In a smart, contrived way, there's a lot of quid pro quo.
I don't believe that there aren't things happening behind the scenes at a high level. That's all I'm going to say. We can't prove that. The higher it goes, the more sharp it becomes, like more consequences.
There's an interesting case I want to raise. Do you guys remember this? There was a guy, he's an Asian American, he's probably Vietnamese American. He boarded a United Airline.
The guy who got dragged out.
He got dragged off the plane, and that thing was recorded by hundreds.
Yeah.
And then he got a settlement. He got a big settlement, estimated to be in the hundreds of millions.
Rightfully
from United Airlines. But you have to understand, even though he's Asian American, he's
that's the best thing that happened to him, right?
But he,
in a way,
in a way that benefited him, because it could be interpreted as racism, which is a big thing. And also,
is that the angle that they brought up?
I don't know what the legal argument is, but also he's a good friend. He's good friends with a good lawyer, with a very good lawyer. And he's from a pretty good family. I think his families are doctors.
And because he was also recorded.
I'm sorry that we should now review Jackie Childs, the perfect attorney from Seinfeld. We'll just do this as a
which one?
Addendum to this. It's a character from a sitcom.
Okay. Perfect Attorney is a sitcom.
No, it's the sitcom is about.
Can we skip to that, please?
It's a character from that sitcom.
So, my friend and I, we were going to the movies, and we stopped off and bought this cafe latte. What is that, like a taco? Yeah, that's right. No taco? Yeah. Yes.
So he wants to go after corporate.
Yeah, he's just trying to make some money. It's like the grifter attorney.
And the culprit in that Lego case, right? Let's be frank here. The culprit is not a big player. It's just a name that nobody has heard of. It's not the Lego company itself. It's just a small to.
But they're acting like such a big fish.
It's a small to medium sized corporate.
Yeah.
The real big fish out there, they're real sharks, and I think the average Joe couldn't even talk to someone there if there's a case against a real big corporate. Like these guys are even lucky to have that guy from corporate have his voice recorded, and you know a real big player, sharp corporate, won't even let these voice recordings out.
Bro, you know how hard it is to reach corporate with some sort of big corporations with some sort of proposal or ask for them with some inquiry. It's incredibly
It's
hard.
impossible. You couldn't even reach the front desk. Probably couldn't even go through security, and that's the reality out there. And it's a lot of greedy corporates have actually, what's the word, stolen a lot of money just by doing that. And there's really nothing that can be done about it. And none of those police or senators are going to do anything about that. And that's a sad reality. And yeah, so the reason we're kind of even covering this story is because it's not a big fish corporate. It's a small to medium fish.
Yeah,
we gotta find a bigger corporate to attack.
Yeah.
You know, I used to work for a small-time distributor company here, and my job was to find suppliers from abroad. And yeah, these guys had like big ambitions, and they told me, yeah, to try to get a hold of this supplier or that.
As if it's so easy to get a hold of them.
Yeah, it's like there are no phone numbers, nothing. The emails, they don't answer. It's very hard to reach them.
Yeah.
The way they do business is they have
their own channels.
They have own channels. They have own.
So cold calling doesn't work at all.
Cold calling doesn't work. You have to be in the business. You have to be an established.
How can an outsider get in though? There has to be a way.
You just start with a different supplier with smaller products. You become big, and at some point
they'll contact you, or
well,
you'll
they won't contact you. But at some point,
doors will open.
Yeah, you'll find a way to contact them once you're big enough. But if you're like a small time fish,
no way. It's like a different life. Like some things are
different
closed.
league.
Different league.
That corporate is actually, think about it, it's really a small fish corporate, because they actually send the guy there to collect the keys, like physically collect the keys, and they actually had another representative talk to the guys over the phones. Like you said, a real big fish corporate.
They'll send energy, light energy. Of course, there'll be people.
It's invisible. All they do is through layers. Like.
Well, people will come to collect the keys.
Through layers or through some vague legal languages.
Oh, you think it'll be cleaner? Like as bigger, more professional corporations will do things cleaner. It'll be like kind of.
No, it
won't be so simple as a guy coming in.
If you're a big corporation, you probably cannot even, as a mom and pop, you cannot even take up a franchise with them, because you have to be also quite in the money. You take several franchises, open several.
Didn't you tell me that McDonald's started that way, where they sold their franchise rights to people that it was a real estate business, right?
Yeah.
Right. So in that sense, but that was when they were smaller.
But not even. I'm not even referring to McDonald's. I'm referring to even bigger fish out there. I mean, and for that corporate to come down and just to confiscate a $200,000 collection, and people think that's a big deal. That's really pocket change for some of the big fish out there.
How much? What is pocket change?
200 grand. It's just
that's like 10 cents for some.